Welcome. This week's episode. You might notice I'm at home. That's right. I'm back in Birmingham, but I'm not with Goran in person. It's a shame he can't do it. However, this week we do discuss the following: a video about why hustling is kind of bad. Very worthwhile conversation. Why I am back in Birmingham, operations, procedures, whatever. And thirdly, why the the Indian government website for visa applications is not very efficient. Please tell us if you've had experiences that are the same. But if you want to check it out and find out more, follow through and we'll catch you there. Laters. What's happening, people? Welcome to another episode of the Indian Dots podcast. It is only me and the Doctor this week. I am back in familiar territory. If you can see this on YouTube or in Spotify, you can see that I'm based back at my mum's house. So came back for the week. And yes, it's a little bit different.
Why did you come back? Is the question that all the listeners want to know.
I came back to see my
mum. Biba Putte.
And also,
okay,
I've got
second
a
key question
appointments here as well.
Before we come on to the appointments, I know they're about multiple never-ending list of medical conditions which don't amount to anything, and there's nothing that can be found in any of the scans. But we'll come to that. We'll come back to that. Don't worry.
Go on.
Is your wife with you?
No.
Oh, why not?
It's not that.
Where is she? Where is she, man? You don't like her. She's living in the flat. Huh?
She got the whole flat to herself.
She's living the good life. Yes, you're here.
100%. Living the full good life, man.
Cool. How do you? You're here for a week, aren't you?
Here for a week. Yeah, man.
Okay. Is this the longest you've been away since you've been married?
Yes, it is.
Okay. Sort of mini coincidence. Next week, Shindy's going home for a week, and I won't be with her for a week.
Yeah, but yours is like, she must have done this a lot in the 7 years you've been married.
Okay, I'm flattered that you think we've been married 7 years. It's only been like only 4.5.
Queenie, what's doubling something? It doesn't mean anything.
Right? I have this really bad habit when we go to restaurants, and if we're celebrating something, and we're like, "Oh, how long have you guys been together?" I'm like, 10 years, man. 10 saal ho gaye. My boss, बहुत मेहनत की मैं है ना 10 साल में सेवा की है. Shindy's like every year. I just keep adding out random numbers of 15 years, 20 saal, 20 years ho gaye.
He's making yourself look older and older doing that.
Yeah, I know. But okay, cool. So you're here. Tell us about your wrist. What's wrong with your wrist?
Oh, I've got some grade 2 tear in my wrist. So I'm getting that evaluated, and I might potentially do like a cortisone shot and then do what am I doing? It's a cortisone shot and then some physio. But I'd already done physio for 2 years, didn't really fix it. So we'll see. And if that doesn't work, then it will have to be arthroscopic surgery. I don't know what that means, but
that just means keyhole. So they'll have a
but then after that, it may cause more discomfort than actually getting better. So I said I'll talk to the consultant about it in person and see if it's worth exploring.
And what do they put down as the cause for your tear?
They genuinely, I honestly can't think of a pinpoint moment where it happened. I'm not sure if they'll be able to either. I think it's just something that happened years ago that never healed. And it's
is it a cumulative, like you've done loads of climbing or bungered out weights, or is it like one singular event?
I think it was a singular event when I fell down a few years ago and I landed on my wrist. And then the next day I couldn't move my wrist. That's what I think it was.
Oh, that's pretty good.
It could be that. But then for 2 years after, I didn't have any pain or issues. And I was putting it in like flexion positions and stuff. I was able to flex it. I was doing yoga. Like it wasn't a problem. So I was like, okay, cool. Yeah, exactly that.
Gotta forget who we're talking to here. Mr. Hot Yoga, Mr. B.
There we go. Mate, I haven't done yoga in 2 years. It's mad.
Listen, you don't need to. You're on such a high level.
No, I need to do it, man. I miss it. I miss it. You know what, right? I tried doing plain yoga a couple of weeks ago.
Sorry, you mean normal yoga?
Plain yoga, yeah.
Is that what you call it?
It didn't, yeah, plain yoga. It didn't.
It's plain yoga, not hot yoga. Is that what you mean?
Yeah, doctor. I only went straight into hot yoga. I didn't do any yoga.
You're hardcore, man. You're hardcore.
I went straight in, right? So I was doing normal yoga and I was like, this is not doing it for me, because I couldn't focus because I wasn't under like intense stress of having to breathe.
Sorry, let's just break that up. As in what, you weren't mindful? You couldn't bring yourself to presentness?
I couldn't bring myself to be present unless I was like in some form of struggle. So say when I was doing hot yoga, it's so hot, you have to
Mm.
just breathe and think on breathing. You can't
Right.
possibly think of anything else. This was like, it was just in a room at home online.
Mm.
I was like, yeah, this is not doing it for me.
Okay, and you don't find that because when I started yoga, although it's all about the breath, ultimately the postures themselves for me were quite hard, and I was having to. That made me mindful. I was like, okay, downward dog, 5 breaths, lift your leg, 3-legged dog. Like this is quite
Yeah,
hard
yeah,
at the
yeah.
start.
I understand that, but when
Mm.
it comes to doing stuff like that, I was thinking, okay, this is quite easy,
Okay,
because
okay.
it wasn't stretching me enough, and then I felt like I wasn't getting enough of a good stretch out of it because I wasn't very warm or very hot, so I couldn't stretch beyond. So I was like, okay, this is a bit, it's not really working for me. So the heat will warm my body up to be able to take it to
Mm.
further deeper stretches. So that's what I'm like, oh, okay, I kind of miss going to hot yoga. So did normal yoga, didn't do it for me. And then now I'm like, okay,
Mm.
maybe it's just wear and tear that happened over lockdown from doing loads of press ups and stuff. So that's probably why.
Is that what you did? Loads of press ups.
During lockdown, yeah, because there were no gyms, were there? So doing press ups at home, doing a lot of things like on your hands, like bear
Mm.
crawls and stuff like that. And you're obviously using your wrist in that position for a long period of time again and again. So I think it just aggravated it. And then I carried on. So that's probably what caused it.
Mm. Oh, yeah.
Reality sets in.
Did you benefit from the press ups? Have you got a nice chest now? Or?
I think I have a decent chest, yes. It
Okay.
also kept me mentally sane doing exercise during lockdown. So I have no regrets.
Mm. Well, happy for you. Okay, so you're back for the week. Dad's not outside trying to attack you through the window.
No, he's not. No, it's a
He's
bit late
not.
for that as well. But no, he's not. He's still
Bit late
abroad.
for that.
So yeah, living the dream,
Gotcha.
that one.
And it was your brother's birthday recently, yes?
It was his birthday on the weekend gone. Yes,
Big
yes.
B, Bachchan Saab. Not
No,
Bachchan Saab.
39. He ain't 40 yet.
No. I was just Bachchan, Amitabh Bachchan. I was just Big B. That's why I went there. But then I realized, I remembered he listens to all the podcasts, which means he's going to comment on the YouTube video
He will comment
about
on it.
this. You know he's going to comment. I know.
And you're going to get the Satyanas again. And
Satyanas, right? So Big B's birthday,
yeah.
but not 40. Okay. How was that?
It was nice, man. It was nice just being back and seeing everyone, spending a bit of time with him and stuff.
Nice.
Having all the kids around and whatnot. It is like a good feeling.
Yeah. What you guys
man.
do? Just get together at the house? Or?
Literally, we just chilled. We invited a few of his friends over. He didn't know that they were coming, so we told
Right.
them to come over and not tell him. So he had like a bit of a oh hello, and that was nice. Had pizza again, which is nice, and then chilled.
Where was the pizza from? Is the question.
Where do you think?
Oh my god!
This episode of the podcast is sponsored by Caprina's Pizza.
Not sponsored by the worst pizza in the world, but it's okay.
Shut up, man. Worst pizza in the world.
It's not the worst pizza in the world. I think my expectations were heavily elevated. Okay. I think that was the issue.
Okay.
But the garlic bread was good. Chips are good. The size of the pizza was very, very generous. I will say that. Like just so big. Like 2 slices in, and you're like, wow. Don't need
pretty much done in it.
Yeah.
It is a struggle. It is a struggle. I agree.
Okay.
So yeah, man, that's me. What's been going on with you over the last week or so?
What's happened last week, man? What happened on the weekend? So it was my sister's birthday last week. It was her first birthday after being married. So she wasn't here in Mosul. That was a bit odd, not celebrating here together. She was meant to be on holiday, but that whole cyber attack happened with BA. So that didn't happen.
What cyber attack on BA happened?
There was some sort of nobody could check in, nobody could fly. All flights were grounded.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was hacked and everything. And basically all their operating systems were down. They literally could not do anything.
It's Russia. It's Russia.
Well, it's all
Russian interference.
Yeah, it's all Russian, man. Yeah, so then on the weekend we went down to theirs. Well, actually, before that, Friday, I had a gym session. Another shoulder PB, mate.
Here we go.
I'm not going to tell you about that.
Here we
go.
No,
it's okay. It's okay. I'm not going to tell you. Me and Jamie are going to make a video and send it to you. We've decided.
Okay.
But after that, we went to play badminton, which was quite interesting. So I'm better than Jamie, but then I just done a heavy session. That kind of balances out a little bit. But then he had leg day the next day and he was dying. So that was nice. Went to Smash Burger. You been to Smash Burger?
Smash Burger's all right. It's decent.
I do like Smash Burger. I think those fries are phenomenal. And then Saturday and Sunday, we headed down to my sister's and we watched Death on the Nile, which is the new Agatha Christie film. It's obviously a
Gonna
remake.
say this. Oh, I saw a
Gal
trailer for
Gadot
that.
is the lead lady.
Yeah, Gal Gadot. That's why you really went in it. Be
She's
honest.
a beautiful woman. She's a beautiful woman. But I know the story anyway. I've seen the original by David Suchet and before that. So we watched that, and actually, where we watched it was pretty cool. It was Pinewood Studios. So like where they made the Bond film, part of it was shot there.
Oh, okay.
So like you go there and it's like an industrial site, and then within that they have a cinema, but you can see all the other warehouses where they had the green screen and everything. It's just all there.
So you went to watch the film there?
Yeah, it's where they had premieres.
Oh,
this wasn't the premiere for that film, but so it's like and there's like literally. All right, let me ask you. So the film showing was 8:00, right? 8 p.m. What time do you films generally start?
8:30.
Yeah, 8:05. Film was on. No bullshit. No messing about.
I've seen that in a couple of cinemas. It's quite nice.
Yeah. No, it was
like,
really...
oh, no trailers. Get in.
Yeah. Like we got there and we'd gone for dinner, Lebanese place, and we're just getting some snacks. Everyone going to the toilet. Like, oh yeah, we got plenty of time. It's fine because we got there like 8:05, like early. And then we walked in, and literally, it was like in feature film. It came up, and so that was really nice. And then Sunday, her in-laws came over. We were already there, and we did like a joint celebration. So much like you actually, with Bal's birthday. So her niece and nephew came over. So it's nice to see everyone. I haven't really seen them like all been all together since the wedding.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's actually going to tie in really nicely what we're going to talk about later about that second video you got me to watch about value and quality time. It's all tying in.
It will all
so yeah, I had work is super bloody busy at the moment though. But we're not going to. Yeah, let's not talk about medicine today.
Let's not talk about medicine. It's okay.
No Russia, no medicine.
Very good. So let's just call it the Indy Karan podcast and just take the doctor out of it. Yeah.
There's no need for that, is there?
You don't want to talk about medicine.
That's a bit mean, isn't it?
That's what you said. Just taking
Jazz.
your words into
Jazz,
context,
actually.
Man.
My name is Jazz.
No, okay? It's got him, man. Forget it. Right. Let's move on then, shall we? Jazz. Yes. Okay, fine. Right. Do you want to do which video? The hustle video first?
Up to you, man. Up to you. Whatever.
Let's do the hustle video first. So, me living in the YouTube world all the time. Sometimes you get served something on the YouTube algorithm. And this video is by a guy called Struthless. Go on.
We're going to that.
Please interrupt me during my monologue. Thank you. I appreciate it. Yeah, go on.
Tell me, brother, what is the algorithm? I'll give you the context of my question. So my very good friend, Ali Abdal, who's very successful on YouTube, posted some content the other day. And I was asking, I'm going to ask him about it as well. And he just said something about, you need to be consistent, like one video a week for a year. And then the algorithm will pick it up. And then that will be the magic, right? He made
Not
that
necessarily
statement.
True. No.
Yeah, I know. But remember, he's a successful YouTuber. He kind of knows what he's talking about. But tell me about the algorithm. What does that mean? What is the algorithm?
I honestly, Karan, I don't know. To me, it's a black box. I still need to understand it more and do some more research on it.
High level, what does it mean?
It's basically something that serves you things that you've looked on in the past that matches in line with previous video search history. So say if you've watched a bunch of videos on Gary Vaynerchuk, you're going to get served more videos about Gary Vaynerchuk, but then it goes one step removed. It will show you stuff about Gary Vaynerchuk from commentators that speak about him, who cover his videos and do analysis on his videos, things of that nature. So you love Jordan Peterson. You're going to see interviews with Jordan Peterson featured at loads of places. For example, recently he was on the Russell Howard Hour. He was also doing a tour with Stephen Bartlett on Diary of a CEO. So you're going to get served all those things more and more because they know you like that. So they're going to try and give it to you more and more. A bit like if somebody binge watches 10 of our videos on YouTube, they're going to get served another one, because they want to keep you on the platform. That's pretty much a big overview of it, I guess.
Okay, so then if we have a person has enough volume out there, you're increasing your chance of that happening.
What if you churn out like 10 videos a day, for example, for argument's sake?
Yeah. I mean that's a lot, but yeah.
I don't know. I don't think so. I think there is a saturation to it, a bit like if you do the same with anything. But yeah, I need to do some more research on it, man. I genuinely don't know how it works or how to game the system, or if it's title optimization, or I don't know. Is the first 24 hours crucial? It's to me, it's very subjective. I don't understand the platform yet. It's the platform I know least about out of all the different social media tools. So yeah.
Okay. Excellent. Well, good answer there. Give me some clarity. So, Truthless.
I thought you were going to tell me the reason behind this question. Hang on, you didn't tell me the answer behind the question.
No, that was it. That was it. He put some content out. That was the context. And so I read it.
That's
and I was
it.
like,
why don't you ask him how it works? He knows how it
no,
works.
no. Absolutely. I've got some. It's hard booking in time with that guy.
Asking me about.
Yeah, why are you asking me, man?
This guy's got how many subs?
3 million now, I think.
Yeah. And we're sitting here on our like 60.
Yeah, man. Getting there. When we get to 100, we celebrate. Yeah,
mate. When we get to 100, I'm fully celebrating. Let's get the champagne out and everything.
Retire.
Alcoholic free.
Alcoholic free. Start the podcast.
Retire. Yeah.
Made it.
No.
It's only 1 hour a week. I'm sure you can spare 1 hour a week. I was like, I'm looking after my kids. I'm sure you can spare 1 hour a week, Indy. The world.
You're looking after your
kids. I'm sure you
kids.
can spare 1 hour a week. No, I'm just saying in the future.
Yeah, you can spend 1 hour a week still.
There's going to be a line, isn't there? It's like,
just don't sleep for 1 hour, Karan. It's fine.
Indeed, the house hasn't got a roof. I'm sure you can spend 1 hour a week. This line is going on a t-shirt we're producing. I'm sure you can spend 1 hour a week.
You can make a note, okay?
Make a note of these.
Do you know why I say that 1 hour a week thing? Yeah, because you're just here for the 1 hour. Yeah. Who does the uploading, my friend?
Oh, I know.
Who does the clip editing, the timestamps?
It's your podcast. Who does the scrubbing through? I am the sport guy.
This
I am simply.
Please.
Yeah. No.
Instagram
credit to you.
Please. Yeah. Right.
I am thinking of exiting that WhatsApp group now. I haven't functioned in that WhatsApp group.
No, I need you in there. Thank you.
No, I'm joking.
In case I'm too mean.
I'm joking.
Thank you.
Yeah, to keep you level. Yeah.
Yeah, keep me level in case I'm too mean. I think I'm very reasonable actually.
Yeah, no, recently you've been on par.
And in general, not recently, since this whole thing kicked off, man.
No,
wow, I was fucking thinking
is
about
he?
You
know, I think I'm thinking about. I get you and Paran confused sometimes. Paran is really raw.
Mean. He's like got two kids, balding.
No, not in that sense. As in when he talks to people, sometimes he comes across really raw, and I have to like tell him like, man, that was really like raw. Do you do it? Have you done it with?
I'd like to think with this whole like podcast.
No, okay, I remember now. Okay. You've done it once. Once only. That time when we had to have the serious talk. Not you and me, with the other person. And then I was like, okay, that was a bit like.
No, but I didn't do anything. What you said to me was, you said phrase it like this.
Oh, you didn't actually send it. You didn't send it.
No, I didn't send it. I said to you, fine. What do you think of this? That's fine. You said, holly. I was like, okay.
Yeah.
I have no middle, Karan. I have
you were
either here or here.
Yeah, and you were tether. So I know I understood the frustration. The frustration was rational, reasonable. Yeah, it was just just framing it a little bit. That's all it was.
Thank you. I appreciate your honesty.
Anyway, what did we get onto that? I can't remember. Anyway, the context of the question. Oh, 1 hour a week. Yeah, make sure that is on the t-shirt. I want that on the t-shirt.
You know what I'll do? I'll wear the 1 hour a week thing on the days you can't make the episode and have someone else on. I'll be like, couldn't spare 1 hour a week.
Couldn't spare. Yeah,
there you go. Couldn't spare 1 hour a week. That's it, John.
That's so good.
That's the best way to do it, right?
That's so good.
We'll get that made. We'll get that made. Okay. All right.
Truthless.
So, Truthless. Video by Truthless. Basically, there is a bit of a movement on YouTube with the algorithm that I was served. So I've been served videos recently, actually slating Gary Vaynerchuk, saying the stuff that he does is very toxic and it's not sustainable and it's quite over the top. This whole hustle culture.
All right. Do you still watch Gary V content?
I haven't watched his content in a long time.
Define how long?
I haven't watched a YouTube video of his in years. Sometimes I might see something he puts on Instagram and I'll watch it quickly. That's literally it.
I am of the same opinion as you now. I have not watched Gary V since the end of 2019.
There we go.
And it's not that I don't like him.
No, I got loads of respect.
But I think in each of our journey of entrepreneurship, success, or whatever it is, productivity, or however, whatever reason you come and across Gary Vee and start consuming his content, I think it served its purpose. And I think once that served your purpose, you've taken the lesson from him, which is like,
which is what he always says. He says, "My hope is that you never have to come back and watch me again."
Yeah,
which
that's
is
true.
fair.
That's true.
Like he does say it, and I was like,
Just say, yeah. Because if you keep watching, then obviously you're not making any progress, are you?
Yeah.
If you want to hear the same thing and again. But yeah, I think it served its purpose, and that's interesting that people now are starting to slay. I'd be interesting to watch that content actually to see what angle they're coming from.
I mean, yeah, if you just type in, I mean, he's been covered by loads of big YouTubers, PewDiePie, etc., and they've ripped him. Some of the stuff they say, I think, is a little bit unfair, but everyone's got their own spin that they want to put on it. I, for one, won't slate him, but I can see how the context of this video can be quite helpful for maintaining balance in life. So the video is called Hustle Culture. It's basically based on a guy who breaks down hustle culture and how it impacted him as a person. And this is quite key because I feel like the similarities between what I've done in the past and what Garen's done in the past with this, where we just took things a bit too far too quickly, or we tried to run before we could walk, or we just got fully invested into something and essentially obliterates your work-life balance and just how things are and how things are sustained, I guess.
Yeah, the crux of the video is all about what is the intention for which why you set out on trying to hustle culture, right? So what's the end game? And then within that embedded is the sustainability of these things.
Yeah.
Like I remember there was a period where I'd done 45 days, including weekends, just doing various different entrepreneurial things plus normal work. And I remember a particular Sunday where I'd done a aesthetic clinic, full clinic, got home, hadn't really eaten, had a quick snack, and then you and Gopi were there. And then we were discussing ideas and shooting this video for a Dubai competition. And man, I was just dead, man. And then the next day, back to work as normal. I look back at that now, and I did a lot of reflecting during the lockdown. I was journaling a lot. And I was like, what is it, man? What was I actually what was I gaining from all that thing? And, when you're going through the struggle or the hustle, whatever you want to call it, the framing in your head is, yeah, it's worth it, man. It's worth it because one day this will happen. One day
it will come together.
Yeah, that day doesn't come. And when it doesn't come, then you feel even more shit because you're just like, oh, okay, so what have I been trading my time, energy, and effort for and sacrificing when I could have been, being happy and having that balance. And I think the best thing I liked about his video is this whole thing about you can be successful, whatever your definition of success is, and have a, do normal stuff in your life, have a balanced life.
Which in essence, yeah, is the biggest takeaway out the video. I did like how he sort of said the hustle culture does work.
Yeah.
He did it for 3 years straight or something, didn't he? And he said it does work, but it comes at a great cost. And that great cost is all your spare time. There's like feelings of guilt when you want to go out, all these things. So you just need to keep it,
mental clarity.
You need to keep it all in check. And one thing that he also mentioned, which is quite key, is that he used the hustle thing to get away from his feelings and emotions towards certain things in life, just as like a bit of a runaway addiction. And I was like, I can definitely see how that happens. I mean, I, for one, have done that. I've jumped into something loads of times and I've just been like, I'm just going to jump into this, focus on this. It'll be perfect. Everything's fine. And you just run away from all your problems. Right.
And initially it feels so good.
It does feel good because it feels like, I'm making progress. Because if you're going from being in a slump of doing fuck all and you start being semi-productive, it's a great feeling. And then after that, you're like, okay, I need to then take it to another level. I need to do this all the time.
Yeah, and the problem is, it's if we use the gym analogy, like if you are like zero, right, you start lifting, your gains are like pew, like this, and you're like, man,
it's called newbie gains. Yeah,
newbie gains, right? And then you get to the bit where it plateaus, and it's all about like diminishing returns, and you're very slow incremental growth.
Yeah.
So I know when I started one company, and I was like, oh, and I started second company, I was like, man, I started 2 companies, man. But when you start companies, there is very little to do.
Yeah, it's just you started it, you logged it in Company's House. In Company's House, by the way, you can write down any name and they don't check it.
Really? I didn't know that. I mean, as long as no one else has taken it.
So I know we didn't want to talk about Russia, but I was watching a video called Led by
Yeah.
Donkeys, and it shows you how it sort of exposes how Russian money manages to get into the UK really easily.
Right.
And when you set up a company in Company's House, you can just set it up under false names and people don't check it. And you just set it up quickly, the paperwork gets done and given to you. So some
Sorry,
of
you on
them are
about?
like
Are you on about
obscene.
the name of the company?
No, the names of the directors of the company.
No, when you set up Company's House, you have to provide your passport. I had to do it for all my companies.
I might have got this wrong then. Maybe.
Yeah.
Hmm.
You have to be verified. There are certain
Do you?
aspects. Yeah. Like you can't just for the directors definitely.
What
So all
about
the
people who are sources of income or
shareholders.
source of interest, maybe something like that? It's
There might
one
be
of the
other
fields
affiliate.
in
Yeah, there
there.
might be other affiliated people. Then maybe not.
Some of the affiliated people, I think, was just made up with random names, and then you could just
Okay.
keep doing that again and again and again. Eventually, you just turn it into a chain. And I thought,
Yeah.
oh,
Shells,
okay,
isn't it? Mm.
yeah, shell companies. Essentially, it was all made with shell companies, and
Yeah,
you have
yeah.
false
Links.
names.
One links to links. Links to link, and you
Yeah,
just
so I was
you
like,
can't
oh,
find the
okay,
source. Yeah.
that's interesting. So, yeah, it is possible to get around things in that way. But you were saying when you set up a company, there's not much to do.
Yeah. Exactly. So, but then when once I started getting very busy, and then I realized, like, shit, man, this is a lot of work. And at the start, it seemed really fun,
Mm,
right? And you jump into things because now, for me personally speaking, it was okay, brown kid, Punjabi kid, become a doctor, fine, done, nailed it. I feel a bit bored, a bit of a void. I still want to do much more. I'm surrounded by this whole entrepreneur mindset,
yeah.
passive income. The whole generation is obsessed passive income generation. It's like the thing. And I was no different. So I was like, well, how do I do that? Well, I'd read Rich Dad Poor Dad, Left Side, the Right Side. And if you've read this book, Indy, or you haven't read this book? Okay, right. Basically, put the premise of the whole book can be simplified into a simple diagram with 4 quadrants. Okay.
Mm,
So if you think about this in your head when I'm talking about it, the top left was an E, standard for employed.
yeah.
The bottom left was S, small business owner or self-employed.
Mm-hmm,
The top right was big business,
mm-hmm,
and the bottom right was investor. And
mm-hmm.
basically, what he said in the book is he was like 95% of people spend their life on the left side, right? He said the problem with the left side is if you're employed, you're taxed at source, which means the more, say even if you're on, I don't know, 200 grand a year, majority of that, if you look at the UK tax structure, it gets lost in tax. Okay, you're
Yeah.
taxed at source. Then he said the self-employed is small business. So if you think about a shopkeeper, he always talks about shopkeeper. A lot of money you can make, but if you're not there, there's no money being made. It's all dependent on you. Lots of hours, lots of hustling, 7 days a week. Hard to upscale to scale. So he said the 5% live on the right, right? And the 5% are having a business and being an investor. So I read that book and I was like, and the premise of the book is based on property. That's the whole thing. His thing is about property as a strategy. And I was like, well, how can I do the B and the I? So that's why I set up businesses essentially. And then I was like,
Yeah.
okay, I want to invest. So I started investing in lots of different things. And so it all seemed like, yeah, this is what you need to do. But without knowing how much time, effort, and energy, and would it even make me happy? Did it align with my values? That's not something I looked at that time. I was like, this can make money. I'm good at most things. I will do this. Was kind of my thinking and thought process.
Yeah.
Without really checking, am I spreading myself too thin? And I definitely did that. And but now, the benefit of having done that then, I'm happy I've done it then, is there's no FOMO. There was like zero.
There's nothing
like,
to worry about now, innit? You sort of got out of your system.
Man, I'm clear what I'm good at. I'm clear which businesses I want to scale and are working up. I'm clear where my time, effort, and energy goes. People come in with a business idea now. It's like, mate, this isn't in line with the values. Thank you, bye bye. Go. Zero, like kind of, I wish I'd done that. There's no temptation anymore.
Mm.
And I'm really clear about where my time, effort, and energy need to go. See, podcast, when you look at the podcast as an example, it's like, okay, it'd be nice if the podcast had a monetary output. Okay. And the goal one day is that it will have that. But it doesn't serve that purpose now. But that's okay because it's not filling that part of my human need, my value system here.
Yeah.
Yeah. And as long as it fulfills that as a primary, then that secondary thing can be later down the line thing. Which is why I enjoy it, which is why, and I think me looking at the podcast now, there probably was a bit where even there's excitement of we've started a podcast. Then probably, in the early episodes for me, it was like, okay, so how are we going to monetize it? I would think about that a lot.
Yeah, I
And
remember.
now I
Yeah.
don't now I don't think about it all. Now I'm just like, man, let's just enjoy the podcast. Like, that's it. The enjoyment of the podcast is number one thing. And now I don't even think about. I think because we're so many episodes in now. Like if you've done 5 or 10, you still feel like you're at the start line. Whereas now I feel like, we're a
There is
decent
no
number in
finish
now.
line with this, is there? It's just you carry on in it. But that's not feeding into the hustle culture. That's just like we genuinely enjoy doing it. And I always said to myself, what's the reason for doing it? So it goes back to the video that he said. In his video, he said, figure out the reason why you want to do something and do it sustainably or do it with a balanced approach.
Yeah.
So that whole book that people put out, what's that guy's name? Simon Sinek, who says, find your why or
Yeah, he talks about
whatever it's called.
the golden circle.
Yeah. So just it basically sums up that whole book in a little line, which says, do what you want to do, find out why you want to do it, and then do it sustainably. Do it with a good balance in life. Because otherwise you're gonna burn out quicker. He said burnout's inevitable. You're gonna do that quickly. But this whole hustle culture of doing things again and again consistently, perfectly, non-stop, keep going, don't take a break, carry on, bleed through your eyes, don't sleep. Like, no, all of that stuff gets quite dangerous, especially for someone like him, where he said hustling was his enabler to get away from a lot of things he hadn't dealt with inside him. And I was like, oh, that's actually quite good to know, because I know if I have an issue going on, I push it to the side, right? I really push it to the side and I'll just dive into something else and I'll pretend like nothing's wrong. And it's only when I get exhausted, I'm like, oh, okay, I'll figure out why I'm exhausted. And then it's sort of understand that now. Why. And I've done that about a good 15, 20 times in life. And now I'm better off understanding and dissecting why I'm upset about something straight away, instead of trying to pipe it in. Is that not even a phrase? Pipe it in, hold it in, shove it all back in, and just hope it's all going to be all right and just cling on to it.
Yeah. And another thing, I've learned from this whole, burning out from the stuff I was doing is a lot of it comes from our inability to say no.
Yeah, there is that for sure.
We innately do not like doing that, and therefore we accept more things than we should accept. And, for the first time in 5 years this year, in January, I had a different, my approach normally in January is to go ham. Christmas is normally chill anyway. So as January comes, man, I just, but this year I was like, actually, the thing I need to grow out this year is the coaching. So how does the coaching grow? Well, the coaching grows if I can be speaking regularly from a stage or a virtual stage about what I do from a coaching perspective, getting people on the program, and having a webinar-based funnel. And I was like, that's it. That's all I need to do this year. There is nothing else that I need to do. And I was like, that's actually quite liberating. So now my time is actually spent on doing those things rather than trying to having too many, what we call in our world, open cycles. You open all these cycles, you don't close them. Then you have incompletion. Incompletion is a really bad feeling. Closing cycles is a very good feeling. Like now, for the listeners, it's like, think about to-do list, but now think about you had 20 to-do lists at the same time. There's too many open cycles and you're not finishing anything. So getting completion in something before moving on, yes, you can have a few things on the go, but having lots of things on the go, bad. You will not feel good. Right?
Sometimes when I'm in that state of too many things that I need to do, I'll start thinking of my day-to-day tasks as a to-do list. And then I feel good about completing that. I can then complete something a little bit bigger, a little bit bigger, a little bit bigger. I can't do every big thing at once. I've got to be like, okay, today I woke up and I made food. That's a task. I went for a walk. That's a task. I set up micro That's a task. Like little wins. I'm like, oh, okay, that's all good shit. Right.
Little wins add up to big wins in themselves. Number two, that you're doing what we call avalanching. So you do the small things that then build up.
Yeah.
Make a big thing.
Exactly. Right? That's exactly the phrase.
Yeah, and it's now from a productivity point of view, and it's the same actually when that model is the same for debt management. So there's two approaches to say I don't know, you owe £10,000, right? Across various forms of debt. One approach is you pay all the little small debts first.
Yeah.
Okay, because you build momentum, you're feeling good, I'm paying off. Then you tackle the big one. And then the other approach is that you tackle the big one first, big step first, right? And it's the same with to-do lists. So when we look at it, Pareto principle, 80% of your results are going to come from 20% of your efforts. And normally of that 20%, you should focus on the biggest thing first. But
what's that again? Say that again, 80%, 20% what?
It's the 80-20 rule or the Pareto principle. So in any company, 80% of the money, let's say, it's easier when you use money, is made by 20% of the people.
Right.
The top people at the top are making most of the money. So what this guy showed, I think he was a economist. He was saying that principle can apply to anything human in your life. So you look at any pursuit of anything. Let's say my shoulder gains, right? 80% of my it's all about shoulder gains, mate. 80% of the way my shoulders look strength wise, okay, is going to come from 20% of my efforts. But what he was going on about is you need to be able to identify what that key 20% is and focus on that. That was his point. So when we look at a big to-do list, it's like, okay, where are most of my results going to come from? What is the most important thing? But usually the most important thing is the biggest thing, right? And I, like you, when I look at the list, I like a few little wins under my belt first, right? And then I'm like, right, let's attack the big boy.
Then I can take a stab at the big one.
Yep. Nothing's wrong as long as you don't just have a day full of little wins. Or what I used to do is like I do my little things and then create more little things before doing the big thing. I'm like, because I got through this so quickly, I'll just
need to procrastinating to a new level.
Yeah. And you got to remember, when you're efficient like I am, you can efficiently procrastinate, and that's very dangerous. Okay. So then I do things.
Efficiently procrastinate. Holy shit, man.
Like, yeah, I take things which are on my next week to-do list, or I've batched. I just start doing them now. I'm like, yeah, bring this in. I'll just do this now. I'll contact this person. I don't speak for 6 months, but I'll just speak to them now anyway, because I got time. So that is very dangerous as well. And something that actually served me really well that I do at the moment is, I have this concept of 3 critical tasks every day. What are my 3 critical tasks I need to achieve today? And beyond that, I delegate it out, or I don't need to do it. So this isn't my to-do list. That's different. Those little things will exist, but normally
the little small things.
Yeah, they get batched into sort of one day where I'll do them. But the critical tasks, those are the big boys. They're what I define as my 20%, and I'll try and get those down. But yeah, I think, look, if you speak to most people, that hustle culture is very toxic, and the people that are promoting the hustle culture, fine. You got someone like Gary Vee, who, he posts out a lot of content, and his rhetoric is all about 10 videos a day, this, and this. But then there are other people, man, who sell a lot of shit, a lot of scam, these fake gurus they talk about, right? Who are selling you on what success would look like. And the basis of which they sell on is you need to put in obnoxious amounts of work. That's all they'll say with those types of, phrases. You need to be doing it when other people are sleeping, And I understand in the realm of motivation, if you're low, you do need a bit of motivation. But again, the problem is it feels good for a little while, but then you get addicted to just wanting to hustle.
Motivated.
Yeah, and just wanting to hustle, and attending courses and doing all this stuff. Like, I've been through all these things as well, like where you just feel like you need to learn from everybody. You need to read every self-help book or whatever. But it doesn't get you anywhere. You can't uncover your why. Let's come back to that. Uncover your why by reading someone else's story. How does that make sense?
You got to figure it out for yourself, man. You got to go and try shit as well. But I feel like, as you said, people have to go through the whole, let me try and hustle my way through life to see how bad it is for you in some instances.
You can't be told.
And then see
you can't be
afterwards.
Told.
Yeah, people say this about a lot of things. There's some things in life that people just want to experience for themselves, whether that's like, I want to date a bunch of women and then I'll find the right person. And people are like, trust me, I've been there. It's not worth it. Don't do it. It's actually exhausting. They're like, no, I'll do it. Then they do it. Then they come back to me a few years later and say, you're right. It was exhausting. I probably shouldn't have done it. And you're like, yeah, but I had to warn you. It was up to you to listen to it or not. So some people, you just have to let them figure out and learn from their own lessons.
Yeah. Experience is a great teacher, isn't it? We say that, but as we get older, we realize the things you can't see, the blind sides, it just shows you everything. And then you reflect, you have the aha moment and you reflect in a meaningful way. And you're like,
what I notice is that things can be either you're at 0 and you find this hustle culture, you go to 100 and then you want things to go back to like a steady 50. Yeah. And finding that balance is hard. And I really hope that, because there's this balance factor now that's starting to be a movement. That's cool. I'm actually quite happy about that. I hope that sort of seeps into all parts of our society, whether it's like left-wing political views, right-wing political views, whether it's cancel culture, whether it's just anything. I just want everything to have more equilibrium and just more middle.
These polarized.
Instead of being like everything black and white, sometimes living in the gray isn't that bad.
It's not. And look, I like what you said there, that look, if you went 0 to 100, but you end up at 50, 50 is still better than 0.
Yeah. But
And
we don't
that's
see it that
what,
way because we think you've peaked at you've peaked at 100. You must stay at 100. But you're like, you
yeah,
can't do it, man.
it's not,
It weighs on you, and you start sacrificing
yeah.
friendships, relationships, meaningful connections, things that make you feel happy. Say if you hit like a bit of a brick wall with the idea or the project in hand, you kind of have to step away and do something else. If you've not got anything to step away and do something else with, how are you going to overcome it? You can keep trying to get through it, of course, but sometimes leaving something, going away and coming back at it, you might have a fresh perspective.
No, that I agree with all those points. And I think another thing which is quite naive is I get this now because I've been through it, but when I'm around younger people who are, I can see they're just starting out on that kind of hustle grind, they get a superiority complex.
Well, like I'm better than you. I'm doing more than you.
Yeah, like you don't know anything. Like this is what it's about. Like, this is how you get success. And I'm like, bro, I've been there, man. Like, like kind of like how he was presenting the video. He was like,
Yeah,
he can talk about it from a place because he's been there.
yeah.
And I can see these guys. I'm like, okay, that's fine. Do this, but here's my advice. And like you said, take it if you want to take it. If you don't want to take it, that's fine. You just need to experience it.
Yeah.
But it's just a void, man. Like you're right. The health, wealth, intimate relationships, key experiences. These are the things that are important in life.
Yep.
Yeah. Hustle has its place.
It does have its place,
that's
but
all
please just find your own thing in moderation, man. I've got nothing against Gary Vaynerchuk and people who do work hard and stuff, man. Like working hard, as the guy said in the video, it's a democratized value where what you put in is sometimes what you get out. And it's sort of up to you how much you want to put in, but don't do it at the sacrifice of other things in your life. It's not worth it, man. What's the thing that people say? The worst thing that you can do to somebody is put them in solitary confinement and let them have no human connection. So the worst thing you can do to someone is leave them alone, which is kind of mad, really, because we're social creatures. We need to be around people. We need to socialize. So whenever I start feeling bad about socializing, I'm like, well, me personally, I get my energy off being around people, and I'm an energetic person, and I feel better after I've seen people that I get enjoyment being around. That's important to me. And I feel like it's just humans as a whole, they need to be around people to sort of feel part of a community, part of a greater cause, whatever it is. It's important.
Yes. And then the level up from that is, the people, the type you really hang around with. Yeah. Again, when you get around these hustle types, I've been around these people.
It's contagious.
It is. Look, and again, the good side to that is, so in certain of my kind of speaking circles or business circle or coaching circles, there is like a healthy competition, right? So people, I'm doing this in sales, or I use this strategy, whatever, and it makes you want to up your game.
Yeah,
that's okay. But again, the point of the envy and comparison are the two unhealthy things, and I think he touches upon that at the end of the thing about this human or social construct that we have created of competition, which in reality is not really there. But that's the way we frame it in our head, so it makes sense to us, and so it will drive us to do all these things.
Yeah.
Where it's like, actually, and let's if we talk about the most tangible thing that people want to talk about is, I want to be a millionaire by, and it's usually 30 years of age if you're a man, okay? But it's like, you look at the stats, it's like, well, most people don't become wealthy before they're 50, let's say, okay? And wealth is defined, the top 1% of wealth in the United States is $400,000. It's not in a million. So where's this number come from? Again, it's just made popular and people just latch onto it. It's like, I want to be a millionaire.
I get it. But everyone looks at the top 0.1% and think, I got to get that. And it's like,
for what reason?
You can do, but it's very dangerous to keep thinking in that way. And you want to have things a little bit the level.
Best thing my wife ever said to me, Shindy ever said to me, and this will be a quote in numerous places, and
it'll be on your gravestone.
My book.
Even though we don't have gravestones,
I was going to say we don't have that, but you want to create one for me, do you? Okay. The best podcast buddy ever, and now he won't have 1 hour a week.
Pretty much. Yo, what would I actually do if you weren't here with the podcast? Mad. Never thought of that. I don't think I could replace you. There you go.
My leverage chip right there. My bargaining chip.
It's the nicest thing I can say to you. There you go.
Oh, okay, darling. Yes. So the thing that Shinji said to me is, whenever I get a little bit lost, or a bit frantic, or a bit like, am I successful? Am I where I need to be? Should I be in here? You know, those types of thoughts.
Yeah.
Her key question is, what can you not do right now that you want to do in life? Best question, best leveling question I've ever had. Brings me, and then I really look
Repeat
at
that
it
one
and-
more time.
Yeah. What can you not do right now that you want to do? I.e., if you had all this wealth or whatever you think success is, or where you think you should be, if it's not from a monetary point of view, say a position or whatever, what is it that would you be doing right now that you're not already doing?
Yeah.
And she said,
Yeah.
look, when the answer is something tangible, then fine, you focus on that. But when the answer is actually you've got everything you want right now, and maybe you just want to do more of those things, then you are where you need to be. And I was like, that was a key, like, kind of breakthrough moment for me, which I use quite often as an affirmation just to keep me grounded.
Yeah.
I'm like, man, life is good, man. And the appreciation and the valuing of the things which we will take for granted, quality time with people,
Nikhil?
right? The ability, and I'm not talking about podcast. This is all work, bro. But yeah, the podcast falls into that category.
There we go.
And then it's like, okay, so you know, what is there? And obviously, when things like what happened in Ukraine happen, it kind of brings it more to home as well. And so, what do you really need? What do you really, really need versus what do you want? The delineation between need and want is where the whole world is divided. We think, whose videos are watching? It's a Joe Rogan video. Joe Rogan video, I got targeted. It was about how do we break away from materialism. And within there, they were talking about a professor. I looked him up, actually. Let me just tell you the listeners the name. I'm looking up some of his work at the moment. There's a guy called Professor Kaser, American psychologist. And essentially, he's done a lot of work around materialism. And basically, he got commissioned by this American school. And they were like, okay, but how can you teach this concept to kids?
Yeah.
And he started trying to teach it, and the kids just didn't give a shit. Right. So
Exactly.
Right.
You're
so
trying to teach that to kids where everything is all about materialism at that age.
Right. Exactly. And the beauty of this was he recognized that in a week. He was like, right, I need to design something. I need to gamify this situation.
Yeah, you need to make it into a fun little cat and mouse thing.
Right. So then he did this experiment with the kids and their parents. And I think in this part of Rogan's video, they were saying something like, okay, so there's two lists. What do you need and what do you want? Oh no, what do you need? That was it. There was just one list. What do you need? People would like house, water, and then they started putting other things like Jordans. Okay. And they started putting these other things. And the parents are putting like Louis Vuitton handbags and all this shit. Right. And then he worked with the child and he said, okay, so how would you feel if you got these trainers or sneakers? Okay.
Happy,
that's what you asked.
for like 5 minutes.
Right. Okay, we know it's a transient feeling, but so he asked him that, and but the answers are interesting because then there was a layer below that. There was a happy, and then it was like, so, and then he asked him, so where's that coming from? And then it was like, well, actually, I know I'll feel accepted within this peer group, and there were all these other things, right? About was like, well, why do you want these things? And then so the concept he then started talking about was this concept of junk values, that the intrinsic values that we know that serve us, okay, that actually do give us true long-lasting happiness, are being superseded by these kind of what he calls junk values, which are things like materialism, because we want to be accepted, because we don't want to be, say, bullied, or because we think that will give us the status of wealth.
Yeah.
And it was just very, very interesting. And on the back of that, he's talking about obviously the not the con of advertising. He was just saying how marketing is so good now. It definitely is.
Yes,
a
it
science.
is. Yes. Thank
As
you.
you know, and you make
Yes.
people buy shit that they don't want to buy.
Thank you.
Right.
Thank you. Yes.
And it works at so many subconscious levels that you just feel you need, not want, you need to have these things.
Never underestimate the power of time limited offers. Okay. When
Scarcity.
you say flash sale,
Yes.
2 hours,
Yes.
20% off, people are going to jump on it. They're like, yes. Now,
What is the psychology
bam.
of that? What is the psychology of that, Indy? What is the psychology of that?
9
FOMO,
times
isn't
out
it?
of
They
10,
need to, they want to
no,
buy.
it isn't even FOMO. It's deeper than
Oh.
that. FOMO is a part of it. But say
Oh.
if you're into fashion, right, and you're on this website all the time, and you really want something, and the offer comes up saying 20% off everything, flash sale, 7 till 9. That thing you've been eyeing up, you're like, now's the right time to take the plunge. Bam.
And you feel it's speaking to you. Exactly. Okay. So in that example, you said that you already seeded, you want the stuff.
Exactly.
So now it feels like this is the right time.
Boom. That's it. You got your confirmation.
I don't want to miss out.
You got your offer.
Yeah.
It's a slight discount. If anything, it's just a little bit of a haircut off their profit margin. They're still making profit, but it's only a haircut off. You're happy to accept that.
There you go.
And then there's the upsell, like, oh, you can get premium access if you pay X for this year, right? All this stuff. It's just thinking ahead of time, understanding that there's levels to it, proper levels. There you go.
Junk values, man.
How much time you got?
Probably not enough for that other one. We'll save that video.
Okay, we'll save that video for another time. My last thing is, all right, how much time you got? Tell me time.
5 minutes.
5 minutes. Wow, you're so much fun. Okay, all right. Well, I'd like to finish off the podcast by saying there is a special place in hell for people that have made the
marketers.
Indian. Bruv, why are you saying where I work again? I've got to bleep that out again. I fucking hate you because I'm the dickhead that has to sort it out.
I keep forgetting.
Good Lord, man.
I work in a hospital. I work for the NHS. I work for the NHS. That's my employer.
Fuck off. Right? Oh,
Okay.
now I got
Sorry,
to
as you were saying,
editor. Okay.
There is a special place.
There is a special place in hell for people that made the Indian visa website. This is the worst made website I've ever been to in my lifetime.
Why are you going on it? Question.
Karan, I have to send off a visa for my mum, to get her to be able to go to India. And I sat and thought to myself, why don't I have to do this for dad? Because dad has got a lifetime visa. He already thought about it.
Does your mum need one of these? I can get it arranged.
We sent off the application eventually. It officially got submitted yesterday. It should arrive in time
for a lifetime one or for a temporary
one? For like a year one.
If you want a lifetime one, come and let me know. I'll get it sorted.
We'll talk about this after. You might be able to help.
I think
the only stumbling block for getting the lifetime one for my mum was that she needed to get the passports of my grandparents, and she couldn't provide that. So the passports is in their original Indian passports. That's what she couldn't provide.
Okay. Fine. We have ways around these.
Anyway, that website, Karan, bag of shit.
So you were the one doing
all
this.
Shit?
You were doing all this, right?
I did it for mum. She did it on her own. Bless her. Right. Yeah. She did it. She put it through. Fine. Cool. I think it's done. She comes downstairs and says, right, there's this image that I've got to upload now. The image you have to upload is, and you're smiling because you know what's coming up, right? The image can only be accepted a minimum of 10 kilobytes, a maximum of 1 megabyte. On a smartphone today, you take a picture, it comes up more than 1 megabyte. I'm sorry, it just does. Yeah.
So you got to compress the file.
So you have to compress the file, or you have to put it in paint and shrink the dimensions to get it done. Right. That's what I did. I did that for mum quickly. You know, there's bare websites out there that you try and compress a file. You press the compress button, it's like, pay me 50p. And I'm like, yo, fuck you, right? I ain't paying you 50p. Let me do it for free, right?
Yeah.
So I found out this way of doing it on Paint. I did it. I uploaded it. And I thought, yo, I did this for my mum. She's not tech savvy. Imagine all the other people out there that are trying to do it that aren't tech savvy. How are they getting around this issue? So anyway, I did it. I pressed submit. It went through. No confirmation thing came back on screen. The next screen didn't appear properly. It just timed out and you had to redo it again. Fine. Redid it again. Took another half an hour. Cool. Got that done. Hit send. Fine. I got the application number through. Perfect. Looks good. Mum goes to the immigration office the next day. Yeah. Goes there, talks to the guy and says, right, I want to hand him an application. He looks at the application. He says, your place of birth is your birthday. And I'm like, what? And the reason why I'm baffled by this is because place of birth is not a field you can type in. It's a drop-down menu. Okay. Right. So the place of birth is a drop-down menu. So you can only pick countries. You can't put in numbers. Right. Which means the website just fucked up completely and messed up the fields. And I'm like, hang on, how are we supposed to capture that? That's your fault as a website administrator. No, go away, do it again. You can try and do it there in store, but there's about a 20 queue long set of people that are trying to do it on the computer, and they're not tech savvy either. You're going to be there for a while. Yeah. So I had to bring mum home, had to do it again. And then before I checked it, we checked it all again. Third time. Yeah. Third time. Checking it. Going through the page, reading it all. It refreshes the page. It refreshed the page. But I was like, you're not going to get me, you little bastards, right? I copied the application temporary number and kept it to one side because I knew something like this would happen. So I put it back in again, and it took us back to the last page. Sent it off. It was okay. But my God, the person who made that website needs to have some beatings. Honestly, it's so bad. So bad. Oh, hurts me, man. Hurts me. Jai Hind. Yeah, Jai Hind. Yeah. That's it, man. That's it. That's my rant of the day.
Peace out, yeah.
Dear Lord, man. It's not cool. It's not cool.
Feel good. Feel better now, yeah?
It doesn't even cost that much to get a decent website made or a functional website made. Do you remember how your sister's husband, Kenny, right?
Yeah.
He made that temporary login thing for you guys quickly by some quick coding and then allowed you to check in.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
It shows it's not that it doesn't take that much to do if you really want to do it. It's just, do you want to do it? No. There you go. Cool. Maybe it's a barrier to entry for some people so they can stop people from coming in. I've got my tinfoil hat on right now. Yeah. Maybe it's that.
Maybe. Long game.
I wouldn't put it past them, would you?
Because they clearly got money and resources. They can make a decent website. That's not the issue.
Clearly got money and resources, yeah. All right. That's it.
Maybe I'll get you the contract.
I don't want the contract. Give it to Kenny. I think he would smash it. He'd make a fully functioning website, right? This guy is like, if you can whip up a temporary check-in system for someone on a website that doesn't exist, fair play.
He's very talented.
Yes, super coders, man.
Yeah, he's very complimentary to my skills. I love having him as a brother-in-law.
There you go.
He's tech savvy. I'm tech savvy. He's tech savvy, but he just tech that I don't.
Karan, you're not tech savvy. Let's not beat around the bush. What happened earlier, Karan? What happened earlier that I showed you why something happened? You're like, oh, I learned something new today.
No, that's very niche. I wouldn't say that's...
No, it's not niche. Go on. Tell the people what happened. Tell the people what
Do most people know what a bitlink is? Most people don't know what a bitlink is. Customizing bitlink. Most people don't know how to do that.
Why don't you start explaining it then? A bitlink, go on. We have time. Go on.
A bitlink is a shortened version of a hyperlink.
There we go. So what was the problem, Karan?
So the problem is the bitlink we'd sent to somebody to upload testimonial wasn't allowing them to upload, even though they had editing rights. But giving them the original unedited or unshortened link did allow it to them. But that does not that does not explain somebody to be tech savvy.
It doesn't. But however, Karan, I just troubleshooted it in like 2 minutes and it was done. Boss.
Yeah. The question is, did you know or did you take a punt?
I didn't know at all. I just thought, let me try it.
You took a punt.
No. I tried it on the phone. I showed you what the
problem
was.
But why did you try it? You didn't try it because you knew. You tried it because you took a punt.
No, I tried it because you told me it's broken. Fix it. So what do? I got to go down the trail and see why it's broken.
No, I didn't say it was broken. I said the other person had no issue uploading. This person had with the same bitlink.
Yeah.
Yeah. So why? So your even your theory there isn't consistent. Why can one person do it and the other person can't do it?
And then I gave you the theory for why I thought afterwards, didn't I? And the theory was because they probably did it on a computer, the other person did it on a phone. And when you do things on a phone, it's not the same compatibility as a computer.
Okay.
Send people original links, man. Stop with your Bitly. I know it looks nice and clean and very small.
Look clean. It does look clean and it's nice. Personalized.
But you know what I do instead, Karan? Right? What? I will put it in a doc and I'll put the link is here and I'll highlight over it and I'll hyperlink it. That way, if you hyperlink it, it's there. Yes. It can be as long as it is. It's the original one. You don't have to go.
No, I do that in other things, but you can't do that you can't do it for words on WhatsApp, can you? You're talking about just within a document.
I'm thinking just within a document.
Yeah. No, that's slick. I like that. That's good. I do it normally if you look at my email, what do you call it? Footer. Signature. Yeah, footer or signature. Then, for example, our podcast image is hyperlinked, which goes to what's that thing called? We have the thing with all the links. Go on. No,
tell me,
it's
tell me the name of it, Karan. Show me how much you do for the podcast. Show me. Tell me what's it called. What's it called, Karan? Come on, what's it called?
Tree link.
Tree. It's called tree.
Oh, it's something tree, man. Tree link.
Something tree.
Tree beard.
Tree bird. Something tree.
Yeah, so that thing.
Something tree.
Okay, Indy tree.
It's called link tree.
Link tree. I was close. There we go. Tree link. Link tree. Yeah. Anyway, so Kenny is tech savvy. That was my point. You are also tech savvy.
Very tech savvy. When you told me that, I was like, this guy's the real deal.
Yeah. He's my solution man. I was like, I want to do this. I've tried doing this. What would you do? So
there we go.
He'll work it out. Yeah.
There you go.
Lovely.
Sorted. Well, guys, thank you for coming to this week's episode. I hope it was more upbeat compared to last week. Side note on last week's episode, by the way, I watched it back earlier, Karen. I was not in good form in that. I was stumbling through hard, man. I feel like the whole conversation about it was so deep, it started to actually upset me. So I was like, oh, this is difficult. So yeah, that was me having a little reflection moment. I can be vulnerable with you. You can be vulnerable with me, Karen. It's okay.
Yes. That is part of the point of the podcast.
Yes. So there we go. Thank you for getting this far. Please let us know your thoughts. Watch the video. Tell us your thoughts on that original video. And let us know, man. Drop us a message. Instagram handles are always open. DMs are very, very quiet, but we're open to having people talk to us about our podcast. That'd be great. Thank you. And we will see you next week. See you guys then. Later.